never ever find the right words. And there's no way this is real life. There's no telling you.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the show. Welcome back to another video. And today, let's just jump right into the JB4. All right, first things first is go ahead and move everything over here. Oh my God, guys. I love the quality of these products. It looks so good. I literally feel like I'm a kid from Christmas. This is pretty dang exciting. So we're going to have to remove this trunk thing because we're going to have to disconnect the battery. Better safe than sorry. We don't want to mess up our car. Let's go ahead and just disconnect the battery real quick. And all I did is loosen up that 10mm and pulled the negative out. Now that you have no power to the car, make sure you don't close the trunk. It's to grab a flathead and just lock it. It will not close. So that's what's super nice about it. So make sure you guys do that. Just go ahead and lock that. And once you connect the battery and unlock the trunk, that will release again and you can close your trunk. Just a better, safer way. You could also tie a towel around here, but I don't like ruining my nice towel. So I think this is the easiest method. Now, if you didn't order this kit, you would come with a wired system. I went ahead and ordered the wireless. So let's go ahead and take apart this JB4 and install the wireless card to it. So as soon as we have all this connected, we'll have Bluetooth connection. All right, guys, so first things first, I'm gonna go ahead and move the JB4 over here. Let's go ahead and remove these 4 screws real quick. Wow, that was really easy to take apart. Guys, and this is made of such nice quality. So the next thing you want to do here is just go ahead and get to the wireless kit, pull it out. First things first, you're going to go ahead and plug this in. And with the 2 screws that comes in the package, I would definitely hand tighten these. But I'm a crazy son of a gun, so I'm going to go ahead and just use a drill. And it doesn't need to be that tight. It just needs to be in there enough to where the module doesn't just come out easily. Put back the housing, just like that. Just gotta put in the new screws. Now we have all 4 screws tightened up. We have the wireless adapters sticking out, looking all beautiful and stuff. In the day and age that things are digital, it's just also nice having things that are physical because you actually feel your money. You feel where it's going. And quality is something they did not cheap out on. This looks so sick. All right, let's go ahead and start installing it. Also, I'd just like to take a second to admire how cute this little bag is. All right, guys, first things first, just go ahead and remove this engine cover. Should just pretty much come right on out. Next step, we're gonna have to remove this guy. So in order to do that, all you have to do is remove a tab that's here and a tab that's here, which just looks like this. So you just pull the top portion out and you can just pull the whole thing out, both clips, and then this whole thing just comes right on out. So this next step, guys, you guys can see, I'm gonna leave the module right here because it's gonna be going into there somewhere. This is gonna be a ground which we'll be installing pretty soon. And this is gonna be routed inside the car. So we're gonna go ahead and leave that over there as well. So we just have one harness wire right here. The first thing we're gonna be plugging in is the T-map sensor. And this actually goes right down here. This sensor right here, I don't know if you guys can see it. That's where we're gonna be plugging in. So this male head is gonna be plugged into the harness, the female head. And then this male head will be going into the actual sensor itself. So I'll show you guys how that looks in a little bit. Alright guys, so look at it right here. So I have the cable that's coming out of the car into the harness, and the other piece of the harness is actually going into the actual sensor of the car. So that part is actually very easy to do. The next sensor we're gonna be plugging in is the map sensor. So the map sensor is actually right underneath the intake. I don't know if you guys can see it right there. So that sensor right there is the map. It looks pretty much identical to the one just we did down there, but the rainbow cable is for that one, and this one is for the one right behind the intake. So we're just gonna go ahead and do that real quick. The next thing you gotta do is go ahead and connect the fuel pressure sensor. So we're gonna have to remove the intake, and it's actually very easy. It's just one screw up there, just unplug the sensor, and the whole thing just comes out. So this is the only screw that you gotta do right here. Unplug the sensor, just pull up on the box. Should be a pretty easy procedure. So just to remind you guys don't need to plug in the fuel sensor one if you guys don't plan on running E85. So I'm gonna be plugging it in for the sake of the video. I'm not too sure if I'm gonna be running E85 yet, but it doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt to have it hooked up so I can just check all my settings through the JB4, which is gonna be nice anyways. So to do that, all you have to do is remove that intake there, and then just pretty much move this rubber piece out of the way, and it's gonna expose those 3 bolts. I believe they're T25s. Remove those 3 bolts, and then this thing just comes right on up. You can remove the rest of this little rubber thing here, and the sensor is literally right on the back. So once you've gotten the 3 screws out on this side right here, there's 2 more screws. You could just try to pop this out. I really don't know how to, so instead of breaking it, I'm just gonna remove those 2 screws. It makes life easy. And then once you have the 2 screws out on this side, 3 screws out on this side, you can pull this whole thing out of the way. And now you can see the sensor, which is right back here. The sensor is right here in the end of the fuel line. So unplug that and just pretty much do the same thing you did with the other 2. The next thing we're going to be doing is the boost solenoid. So to get to that, we do need to remove this bar, and then we can go ahead and remove this screw right here and move this pipe over a little bit. You might even have to disconnect this right here, move the pipe out of the way, and then we can actually connect the boost solenoid. So I'm routing this cable that went inside the cabin right between the weather guard right here, as you guys can see, and the cabin. It's gonna be right in between it, and then this seal is gonna be pretty much sealing it off to make sure that it doesn't get wet or anything. And then we're gonna be putting our box right over there. And by putting it on this side, it allows us to connect the blue wires to the boost solenoid, which is located right below this intake right here. By the way, guys, this is more in the future. If you don't have a pneumatic, which most models don't, you don't even need to plug this in, so you don't even have to worry about it. But if you have a pneumatic like mine, you will have to plug it in. So follow the diagram from Burger Tuning's website to make sure what model, if your car needs this cable or not. So now that we have the JB4 right here, we can go ahead and put it where we want in the end. Let's just go ahead and connect that blue cable. So to do that, we just gotta have to remove this bar real quick. Now that we have this bar off, we're gonna go ahead, disconnect that clamp, and just remove that bolt right there. I believe that's a 10 millimeter. We can go ahead and disconnect this hose as well. This is probably the hardest hose to remove, but once you got a little bit of play here, you can go ahead and just start popping up these tabs one by one. And just like that, once you have about 3 of them out, all you gotta worry about is the one in the bottom. There we go, just like that. Once you pretty much loosen that up, broke this free, got this hose free, remove this screw, and now all we have to do is remove this little screw down here. It's upside down. BMW just wants to be complicated, so we're gonna have to just go at it with a small flathead, pop this thing loose, and then we can take the whole thing out, and we can finally access the boost solenoid. Looks like there's one more connection right here. Let's go ahead and just pop out this sensor right here, just like that. This whole lower part of the charge pipe comes out. All right, so the boost solenoid, where is it after you remove this entire thing? As you guys can see, it's right there. So all we have to do is disconnect that and do the exact same connection as the other ones. Just pretty much plug in the male, plug the female to the male, and there you have it. Alright guys, and it should look something like that once it's all connected. So we are now officially good to go. We can go ahead and put the lower part of the intake back in. So let's just go ahead and do that real quick. We're gonna be trying to mess with this right now, and then we're actually gonna mount the JB4. So what connects to this side is actually the OBD cable. So there's 2 ways of doing it. You can literally just connect it and tuck it underneath the fender and just get it straight through there and connect it to your OBD. And since it's such a thin wire, you can close your door, no water will come inside the car. It'll work just fine. That is pretty much the easy way to do it. And then if you guys want to do it the clean way, we're actually gonna go straight through the firewall, which is the way I'm gonna be doing it because I want this thing to look super clean and OEM. So what we're gonna have to do is go ahead and remove this bottom tray. I pretty much removed 4 screws. That's all that's holding it down. So literally, there's one right here, second one right there, and then pretty much the same way on the other side. And I'm pretty sure everything just starts coming apart now. So we can go ahead and just remove this, which actually has the airbag. Oof, that's kind of scary. So luckily we disconnected the battery. See, that is a big deal, guys. We're gonna go ahead and use a flathead to pop this sucker out. Once you pull out the airbag, this thing is just pretty much tabs, one down, and we actually have that piece. Start finessing this out. So once you remove this, I'm pretty much routing the cable straight in there. It goes straight into the cabin. I'm just gonna go ahead and put the rest of this in there. I don't really need any of it really out here. At this point, it's not going in anymore, so let's go ahead and go inside the cabin and try to find that wire, pull it down, and then all we have to do is just connect this to the OBD, and that is literally one of the last steps before just giving it power. And now that we have the wire through, we can just go ahead and connect it to the OBD, and I'm actually not gonna untangle this. I'm gonna leave it like that, just mainly because we don't need that much distance anyway. The wire's already out here. Now that we have this piece connected, all we gotta do is just push everything back in and plug in the OBD. All right, guys, at this point, we have the wire connected, so we just go ahead and plug it into the OBD. Everything's back together. Now that is how you install a JB4, boy. The next thing we're gonna wanna do is connect the negative terminal to something. This is the absolute last part we have to do. So I'm gonna go ahead and route it up pretty cleanly underneath here, and then get it under there and just pretty much have that as our negative ground. And last but not least, just go ahead and find a good place to put your JB4. It really doesn't matter. I'm gonna go ahead and zip tie it someplace that's appropriate. Alright, I put some sound deadening things right around the JB4 just to keep it in place. Plus also so it doesn't make any noise while it hits any of the metal stuff. I mean, this is just my way of doing it. You guys don't have to do it this way. You can do it any way you want. That's just the way I want it to go with. And I went ahead and put one zip tie right up here because there's a little place you can zip tie just to keep it in place 100%. I have all the wires routed through here. Now the rest of this, you're not going to be able to see because it's going to get covered up. So just go ahead and just cover up everything and we should be ready to go. And just like that, the full engine bay is assembled. The only thing you guys can tell from the JB4 is this little harness here. You really can't even really tell. It looks like an OEM kit. And then also this one wire coming out right here, which is the ground. And then we also have the JB4 exposed right there. It looks super good. I might try to figure out a better way to make this thing look more presentable and try to mount it somewhere over here. I think it'll look super sick to actually see the JB4. But as for now, it is tucked away right there with some sound deadening foam. You guys can use whatever you want, but that's what I went ahead and used. As everything's put back together, looking pretty damn clean. Let's go ahead and connect our Bluetooth device. Oh yes, don't forget to connect the battery. We are now in the car. I actually took a shower because I was honestly super sweating. It's like 108 degrees right now in California. I was dying. So just to give you guys the feedback on the install, when you look at all those wires, it looks kind of complicated. It's actually very easy. It takes about 30 to 45 minutes if you don't know what you're doing. You could possibly get it done in 20 to 30 minutes if you've taken apart this engine bay before. Like, I've never taken apart this engine bay and it took me about roughly 45 minutes to do it, but it's actually very easy. Everything is very easy to do on this car, thankfully. So level of difficulty, if you have the tools, I would say a 2 out of 10. Only reason I say 2 is because there's those 3 screws that were unnecessary. Like, why do you have 3 screws holding down a wiring harness? You only need 1. But anyhow, that's not JB4's fault, that's BMW's fault. By the way, guys, unlike other systems, this actually connects to CAN bus. So this allows you to read out the transmission system, engine, and sensor data, and incorporate all of that to basically take advantage of the most amount of performance. Also, FYI, guys, the JB4 is compatible with flash maps for fine tuning, also logging, and additional safety systems. It can also be used for E85, which is why we plugged it into the fuel rail. And last but not least, guys, it has an auto clearing maps that will adjust and optimize the tuning on a fly, which is absolutely insane for any given octane mods or conditions, anything at all. All right, guys, let's go ahead and go to our Bluetooth real quick. I never used an Android before. I literally got this phone specifically for JB4. Look at that, it just pops up. So let's click on JB4. All right, guys, I went ahead and connected the JB4 to the car. So all I had to do is pretty much click connect. I can go ahead and start logging. I'm on map 1 right now, and there's so many maps. Like, if you go over here to settings, click on maps, you have like, oh, what the heck? I'm on stock, so I'm just gonna go with map 1 right now, which is super cool. What's also cool, you can go ahead and click read code. So if there's something wrong with your car, you just go ahead and click read codes. Look how quick it is too. Like, reading codes, but I mean, nope, no codes, perfect. So this car is pretty flawless, I'm not gonna lie. Anyway, we're gonna go back to gauges. You can go ahead and adjust the gauges by just holding down on it and just choosing any gauge you want. Like, if you want water temp gauge, click on that. Now you got your water temperatures. Hold it again. You can switch any gauge you want. I'm gonna click on ECU PSI. Why not? I'm just gonna, I don't really know. I need to go ahead and make a whole nother video. I'm just trying to learn this stuff. I'm gonna try to become a pro, but this looks so sick. Like, you feel like you're in a, look how dope this cockpit is right now. And it's Bluetooth. There's no wires connected to this thing, guys. It's literally Bluetooth connected. And what's super cool also, if you don't have the Bluetooth and you don't want to connect your phone, you can also do crazy things with the gauges. Like, so if you guys don't want to spend $140 to get this wireless adapter, which I honestly think you definitely should, it makes life so much easier. You can go ahead and just go through which map you want and what settings you want. So let me show you guys how you go through it. So if you hold the BC button right here, if you just go ahead and hold BC, you're gonna wait, yep, there we go. So, okay, I'm playing around with this gauge right now. And this gauge, I have pretty much like every time you click, you move to another map. So all the info for this gauge is gonna be on this side of the screen, and all the info for this gauge is gonna be on this side of the screen and when the time comes. But yeah, basically, if I go ahead and just keep clicking BC, I can go ahead and adjust the settings and choose whatever map I want. And if I'm pretty much finished with that, all I have to do is hold the BC for 3 more seconds. Now I'm gonna be working on this gauge. And now on this gauge, you guys can see, I can literally choose the map from this side, which is pretty crazy. So map 1, I believe, gives you an additional 4 PSI, which is pretty crazy. Then map 2 gives you 6 PSI, and those 2 numbers are overstock. I'm gonna have, again, the whole list of everything on this side, but that's pretty much how you go through it. And then when you wanna get out of it, you just go ahead and hold BC again, and it saves when the 2 arrows go like that, and pretty much you are back to normal. So what I currently put the car at, I put the car on map 0, and as you guys can see over here, the car is on map 0. So if I go ahead and go back over here, I'm gonna hold down the BC button, wait for it to blink. Once it blinks, there you go. Now I don't want to edit anything on this side. I'm gonna go ahead and hold it for 3 more seconds. Now that we're editing the map, I'm gonna go ahead and just click the BC button once. There we go, I'm in map 1. I'm gonna go ahead and hold the BC button now. Bam, there you go, it saves, and then everything should just go down. And just like that, guys, we are in map 1. Look over here, map 1. So that's how you guys can adjust it from over here. I'm gonna have all the information to what these 2 gauges can do down below. And like I showed you guys can adjust the maps and your gauges and everything by just holding it down, going down to settings, choosing your maps. Super cool. I love this. I love the gauges. Super snappy too. I can click on logs real quick and also log my car and everything. It's just, this is pretty damn dope. And I love how you can check your codes at the same time. I'm actually gonna be hardwiring this. I wanna pretty much have a wire going just straight into the dash or something, maybe into the vent to actually charge the phone, so this thing is always on when I'm in my car. I think that'd be super dope. I'm gonna go ahead and take out for a spin on map 1. Let's see if there's a difference at all, because I'm not gonna lie, this car stock is kind of a disappointment. All right, car is starting up. We are in map 1. Let's just go ahead and back it up now. All right, let's get it. Oof, buddy, you can already feel it, which is kind of insane. Oh my god, I like woke up the car. This is on map 1, guys. Woo! Guys, I swear to god this car was so boring. The thing is that's weird about the 535s, they're a lot slower than the 435 stock. It just doesn't make any sense. I think it's maybe it's such a big car. Let me go ahead and floor it real quick. Woo! Woo! Oh! Oh, guys, nope. That is impressive. I'm gonna go ahead and click start logging and see what's gonna happen here. So, oh, so when you click start logging, the gauges actually kick into effect. So you guys can see the PSI, the boost. Woo, that's so sick. Guys, no way it has this feature.